Okay guys, so we have two main agenda items for today. It's chapter 5 security connect chapter part 3. Firstly, we'll start with the basic discussion of hackers, what definition of hacker, types of hackers. Then we'll discuss malware symptoms, definition of malware and types of malware. So let's start with the first agenda item, which is the hacker, definition of a hacker. So first of all, just remember one thing: all hackers are not bad hackers. Some are white hat hackers, they are the good people. Black hat hackers are basically a term that we typically use with hackers. So hacker is basically anyone who gains access to networks to steal something, to manipulate data and stuff like that. So hacker is basically a person who gains access to networks to steal and corrupt information or data. So such person is called a hacker. So a person who gains access to networks or computers to steal or corrupt information or data is called a hacker. The first hacker was John Draper. John Draper basically introduced the concept of hacking, and he hacked AT&T's the web servers. He actually hacked AT&T's DSL server, in fact, in 1970. So a hacker can be of many types. The three types that our book has discussed is hacktivist. Second type that our book has discussed is the cyber terrorists. Third type is the script kiddies. So these are the three main types that our book has discussed. Let's start with the first one, hacktivist. Hacktivist, as name suggests, hacktivist, which is basically, it's a combination of two words, hacker and activist. So any hacker, any hacker who actually does hacking, who actually does hacking for social or politically motivated reasons, for example, sometime to expose some scams, expose injustice or stuff like that sometimes. So hacktivist is basically hacker who does hacking for social or political motivated purposes or reasons. It is called hacktivist. Second type of hacker is the this is hacktivist. Second type is cyber terrorists. And cyber terrorists, what they do, they do hacking for ideological reasons, just to destroy nations' backbone networks and stuff like that. So basically, a person who uses computer and internet to launch attacks, against computer systems for political, or you can say ideological reasons. So such person is called cyber terrorist. For example, the spies of other countries, foreign spies, they're also known as cyber terrorists as well. Next is the third type. It's the script kiddies. Script kiddies, like you can say 70% hackers around us, they belong to this category. Script kiddies are basically they are basically emitter hacker, hackers with little hacking expertise, or you can say little programming expertise. Computer programming, they don't know how to program, they don't understand computer programming and all that stuff, which is required to be a hacker, in fact. So emitter hacker with little hacking expertise or programming expertise are hackers. What they do is they illegally gain access to networks by using programs written by professional hackers or others. So they don't know how those particular programs work and all that stuff, but they use their code or they use their script in order to gain illegal access to other systems. So this is basically what the hackers, and these are the three main types of hackers. Next is the second agenda item, malware. As we discussed in our first part, malware is basically this is the second agenda item, the last agenda item for today. Malware is basically inspired or short form for malicious software. Malware can be of mainly three types that we discussed in the last class. It could be a virus, a malware could be a Trojan horse, or malware could be a worm. So these are mainly three types of malware. Virus, let's start with a virus. Please remember, virus, the computer virus is always, it cannot create itself. There is always a person behind creation of a computer virus. So virus is basically a software. It is a software that infects computer and its activities. Computers. Infect computers and is created using computer code. So a software that infects computer and it's created by using a computer code is called a virus. Now the thing is how a virus infects a computer. This is very important from quiz point of view. A virus infects a computer. Very important. These 4 steps are very important. You might have some question regarding these steps to organize these. First step is a virus arrives in your computer. First of all, virus comes in your computer. So virus arrives via you can say email attachment, or you can say by downloading something. You have downloading a file, by downloading file, or even visiting a contaminated or malicious website. So you just visit, if you visit a malicious website, you can get the virus. Number 1. Number 2, after virus actually arrives in your computer, next is it needs to get triggered. So any action such as running of a file, let's say if you run a file, a specific file or a program, or if you, let's say, open a file, it can trigger the virus. So virus needs to get triggered in order to infect the computers. After virus gets triggered, then infection is spread to other devices on network. Please remember one thing: virus cannot replicate itself. Like it cannot actually broadcast itself. We provide the transportation to virus. Human actually provide we actually provide we facilitate the viruses by exchanging USBs and stuff like that. The 4th step in this regard is payload is activated. Once the payload is activated, then virus does It's destructive actions. So whatever the actions virus has to do, it will actually do after. So these are the main 4 steps how virus arrives in your computer, and after arriving, how it actually infects your computer. Next is the symptoms of a virus. Like, what are the symptoms that define that you have a virus in your computer or not? So mainly there are many symptoms that you might have already noticed. A few symptoms are, for example, operating system does not launch properly. It does not launch properly. Number 2, it could be, for example, applications or programs. Applications, or you can say programs, run on their own. Okay. Number 3, for example, files get deleted or encrypted. Number 4, documents won't save. You are trying to save the documents, but documents are not letting you save, won't save. Number 5, strange error messages, or you can say, pop-up advertisements, pop-ups. Other than that, you can say computer becomes very slow, like computer runs extremely slow, etc., etc. So these are some of the symptoms which denotes that you are a victim of a virus, or you might have a virus in your computer. Next is basically how we can prevent computer infection, from virus. So how to prevent computer viruses. How to prevent computer viruses? There are many ways through which we can prevent computer virus. Number 1, first of all, always install up-to-date antivirus system. You should have an up-to-date AVS antivirus system, and please keep it updated. Keep it updated. So always make your antivirus update. Number 2, download contents from a trusted website. Don't download things from the website which you don't trust. Download contents, files, and all that stuff from trusted websites. Number 3, limit your search, your web browsing or web surfing to trusted website. So always, rather than visiting some malicious website or any website which you don't know, you should limit your web search to the trusted website. Next is the macrovirus. Macrovirus is very common nowadays. We use hackers, they actually use a macro language in order to create the virus, and these viruses can be placed in your Word file, Excel sheet. So macrovirus definition is virus written in macro language. So virus that is written in macro language and placed in Word or spreadsheets. It's called a macrovirus. Macro languages are basically Visual Studio, Visual Basics. It could be bash scripting and all that. So hackers, they can integrate or embed a virus within a Microsoft Word file. Once you open the file, you will get the virus. Next is the Trojans. Trojans are basically a virus, or you can say a malicious software that appears to be legitimate but having some hostile intention. So basically, usually, or you can say often, comes with downloaded music files, music or video, and you can say programs that appear to be legitimate but execute unwanted, unusual activities once they activate it. So basically, you can actually, you might have watching a video, maybe listening to music, and what will happen? It can actually do something on the back end. Next is the email viruses. So email viruses, as name suggests, a virus that can be attached in a file, and can be sent via email. So a virus that can be attached to a file and can sent via attachment is basically email virus. Email viruses are basically phishing emails, like phishing, ransomware. Please remember these three email viruses type. Number 3, keystrokes or keystroke loggers. These are the 3 main types of email viruses. Please remember that. The last thing in this chapter is worms. So worms are basically, these are similar to viruses, but they can replicate themselves. So a worm is basically a destructive program. That replicates itself throughout a single computer or across a network. So that's called a worm. In fact, worms can be, there are 3 main things that you need to remember about worm. Number 1, they can automatically reproduce. Unlike the viruses which require human intervention for transportation, they don't need that. They can exhaust bandwidth or storage, like just they repeat themselves again over and over, can exhaust a bandwidth or storage, and often sent using email attachment. So these are mainly 3 things that you need to know about worms. If you have any question, any issues, please let me know.